All right. So obviously we're in a circle today, not just for our kicks and watching you guys feel uncomfortable, which is also fun, right? It is. Right. There was people that came in the first hour and they're like didn't even want to sit down and didn't even want to come in. They're like, what is this? What are we doing? And I'm like, no one's gonna hold hands. It's all right. We really wanted to do this because it felt so formal. Like maybe we can we move this circle in? Like can you kind of and yeah, kind of fan it out a little bit, you guys. Yeah, because we felt bad sitting up front. Thank you. That's
we have a fire pit.
This is. Oh, we should have a fire pit.
Yeah, we're so
very lovely. Yeah, because it just felt so like us, like teachers in front of a classroom, standing behind a table and made our hand. You know what I mean? It's more what we want for the in class is we're going to give you guys lots of materials, and some are like really useful, like things you're going to write with and do stuff on, and some of it's for reading. And I was, we'll talk later a little bit about some other things to do with it, but it's the idea that we want to give you these pieces, but then you kind of review them on your own time, and that during this group, we're, kind of sharing ideas. And yes, of course, Sarah and I are dominating most of the talking, but we want it to be a dialogue as well and have you guys talk to us. So it just felt kind of more like a classroom style where someone's like raising their hand and don't want to say anything. So this is nicer, right? Sure.
Sure, I agree.
Now there's no back of the room to hide in. There's no. I know. I took that away.
We're big mid-room girls, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you were. You were kind of that middle table, middle end. Yeah.
I was up front.
You were always front row.
In my corner.
Right there. Yeah, either that corner or sometimes if you got on the other side, but usually front row. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we're all equals. We're in our circle. I'm going to hand some things out. Sarah's going to start talking about some meal planning today.
All right, so good to see everyone again. So just a little follow-up from our last class. We talked about keeping the food log. So did all of you bring your 3-day food log with today? Awesome. So if you want to leave them for us after class, Sarah and I will look them over and give you some feedback on them. If you don't, you don't, but if you want to leave them, that's great. So let's talk a little bit about how it felt to keep a food log. What was that like?
It was okay.
Okay.
Kept me on track a little bit.
It kept you on track?
For how long, so.
You need some stuff to write it down.
So it wasn't a very long time, so it didn't seem like too much pressure.
So you had to think about portions, because I wasn't just writing, head broccoli. I was like, I guess that was about a cup and a half,
Oh, that is.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
was gonna
And
say
that
I
wasn't said in the last classes. Yeah, like the
Yeah.
portion bit. Yeah.
So you were thinking more about portion sizes. You were just a little bit more mindful about your eating because you had to write it down. Did anybody change their eating habits just because they had to write it down?
Yes.
What did you do?
I didn't eat stuff because I had to write it down, so I thought I'd run out of it.
Like what? Like what? So you didn't eat something because they had to write down like what? Girl Scout cookie?
She doesn't want
Yeah, you don't have to say. But you don't have to say. But I mean, that's our tendency is that we don't even always want to be honest with ourselves. So when we eat something, or a cookie or soda or an extra drink or French fries or whatever, we almost don't want to eat it because we have to write it down. So keeping a log is a great way to change behavior and influence behavior, whether it's eating or exercise or maybe you're working on some other different kind of skills. Whatever your goals are, journaling can help you change behavior just by journaling. So it's a really good tip. And if you found it helped you, please keep doing that. Please keep journaling. So moving on to our topic today, we're going to talk a little bit about meal planning, specifically ideas for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. You have 2 handouts there. One of them is just a blank meal plan. So your assignment for next time, next class in 2 weeks, is going to go off of that little meal plan handout. So one side is a blank meal plan for 1 day, okay? And the other side is for a week. So over the next 2 weeks, we want you to pick 2 weekdays and 1 weekend day. Okay, so you're going to pick 2 weekdays and 1 weekend day. And what we want you to do is actually plan out your meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and your snacks for 2 weekdays and 1 weekend day. Okay? Just to kind of help. Yeah, I know. It's work,
That was
right?
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So just to, you don't have to put in details, just whatever is gonna help you. So just thinking about planning that. So that's gonna be your kind of assignment for next time. So let's just talk a little bit about meal planning. So I just wanna review a few basic things. So for healthy eating, most people need to eat at least 4 times a day. Okay, so they've done different, research studies, this and that, and they found that to really follow a healthy diet, maintain a healthy weight, you really should be eating about 4 times a day, at a minimum. Some people, it's more like 6 times a day. So 3 meals and anywhere from 1 to 3 snacks in between meals. So you're eating a meal pretty much every 4 to 6 hours, and a snack maybe every 2 or 3 hours, depending on what works for you. Putting that in perspective, some of us eat every hour and we snack. And some of us might not eat hardly anything during the day, and then at 4 o'clock, it's like something turns on and we start eating nonstop until 10 o'clock at night and we go to bed. Most of us eat the majority of our calories between 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. So just thinking about your eating and try to spread it out during the day. Make sure you're getting that good breakfast and that good lunch and maybe a snack mid-afternoon, maybe a snack mid-morning. And think about maybe what can we scale back in the evening, or can we portion control. One of the handouts that you have is healthy snacking, and just put things in perspective portion-wise for what a snack should look like. So if you're looking for ideas on what a snack should be, we want to include a complex carbohydrate, fancy name for basically a fruit or a vegetable or a whole grain crackers, something along those lines, piece of fruit, and a protein or a fat. So like a piece of string cheese and a couple whole grain crackers, an apple with some peanut butter, hummus and some vegetables, handful of almonds, handful of dried fruit. Those would all be great snack ideas. They're gonna help hold you up and help hold you over and fill you up. So we were talking earlier about, we get the bag of chips or the bag of pretzels, you start going at it, it's like you can't stop because it's not filling, it's not very satisfying, it tastes good. So by pairing those types of snacks, it has a protein and a healthy fat and maybe a complex carbohydrate, like some of those things we just listed off, it's going to be a little more satisfying. It might help you to control your portions. On the flip side, it talks a little bit about 100 calorie snack ideas. So basically, that's not, there's one of them is like a Butterfinger, okay? I'm not saying, we should all go out and start eating Butterfingers, but to put in perspective, one little candy bar is 100 calories. A good serving size for a snack is anywhere from 100 to 200 calories. When our snacks, sometimes they can turn into meals practically, and that gets to be a little bit too much. So just to kind of give you some ideas of what would that look like. So do you guys have any favorite, snack ideas, go-to things that you like to eat for snacks that you feel like, pretty good option?
I eat string cheese.
String cheese, okay. Now do you buy the individual portioned ones?
Mm-hmm.
So it's portioned out, grab it, you're good to go.
Mhm.
What else?
And plain almonds, mega strong.
Plain almonds, awesome. So healthy fat, protein, and it doesn't have to be in a refrigerator. I mean, you just stick it in your desk drawer, it's good to go.
And all 10:30 when the sun starts to grow.
Yes, so you're getting hungry, and then you have that little snack, and it holds you over, just takes the edge off. It's fun. Almonds, what else? Deb, I know you're thinking about something.
Yeah,
I can
I
see
know.
the eyes going.
No, I was like, come on.
What's
your
grapes.
Yeah.
Grapes, yeah.
Yeah.
So fruit.
Don't tell them.
She's not eating grapes. She's not eating grapes today.
Cause I go eat them at 9 o'clock
And that's the thing, having something planned. So you don't go to the vending machine, and 10:30, now you get a little hungry, you eat something.
That's the right time, yeah. 10:30 is usually when you're like, ooh, shoot, lunch is
Yeah,
yet.
because if you starve yourself, it's just gonna backfire.
Yeah, then it is a vending machine trip.
Right.
Yeah.
So, just kind of looking at our other meals in the day, one thing that can be helpful, as I'm sure we all know, is planning our meals, ahead of time, or thinking about what we're gonna have for our meals. But it's not always easy, and it's a lot of work. So, any ideas or little tricks that you all do to help maybe plan your meals or prepare meals ahead of time, or how do you avoid? We were talking earlier, just eating like, okay, I'm just gonna eat a frozen pizza every day because I don't know what to cook. What do you guys all do?
I have a husband that cooks for me.
Ah, so someone that likes to cook.
I know one
That
of those.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those.
Well, I'm coming to your
You're
house
also
in
like
about
putting
2
in orders
hours.
for them, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, well, I don't know what we're gonna have tonight, cause he's picking me up, but.
Well, what
It
does
might
he
be
do?
pizza tonight.
What does he do? Does he plan a meal ahead of time, or how does
Yeah.
he?
He usually does. He might say, yeah, we're gonna have this tonight. Okay.
So he plans it ahead of time,
Mm-hmm.
and what about grocery shopping? You shop with a list?
Somewhat, yeah,
Somewhat.
most of the time.
So a little pre-planning, use a list when you go grocery shopping, can go a long way. What else? What else do you guys do?
The grocery, store flyer.
Yeah, basing off of that, smart, yeah. What's on sale?
Right.
You can save a lot of money that way.
Okay.
So you get the flyer, you see what the sale items are, and, you know, work lines on sale, that's what you're buying, that's what you're
Right.
Yeah,
buying.
what can we make with that?
Right,
Yep, and then what do I have in the house?
yeah.
And then what do I need?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My husband made the comment last night, he goes, rice must be good for us. We've been eating a lot of it lately.
You're like,
Stand
turns
by it.
out, yeah, turns out.
The brown rice, and I had leftovers from last week, so I incorporated it into last night's meal, so.
Yeah.
So you can make like a little stir fry type thing with leftover
Well, it wasn't a
vegetables
stir
or,
fry.
oh, okay.
But still, just throw
Yeah.
it in, careful.
Yeah, I don't know if I get an Easter fry.
But you got the brown rice and you had the leftovers and you made like a little dish from that.
But it was brown rice, pork roast, and I made a gravy with the roux and then the
Oh,
broth.
nice, yeah.
Yeah.
And put it together and make supper with some vegetables.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So you can do a lot of things with meat, you know, a big, like if you have your pork loin or you have your chicken or your ground, you can cook it all up in a big batch and then divide it up and make different things with it throughout the week.
Right, like your crock pot, which I was talking about, yeah, the big thing, a crock pot is something, or I made like 4 chicken breasts, but obviously those things are huge. And it's like, we'll do some on salads, and then later on in the week, we'll throw some together with like the rice and the veggies, yeah. Yeah, perfect, yeah.
I had leftover wild turkey breast, I made soup out of it.
Oh, yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
Soup. So making
And
soup.
She's got good like game and, yeah, that helps, that's nice.
Yeah.
So with your
The woodsy
leftover
concept.
vegetables.
Yeah,
Soups.
yeah, soups is a great way. You talk about the leftovers, you were saying last hour,
Yeah.
picking the veggies. You know, like when you, things that are like, well, it's leftovers, we got a couple days left on that, so it's like.
Starting to turn.
Right.
Starting to, you know.
Yeah,
You throw it in a soup, and it's a good way to use it up without wasting it, and you know it can be a quick meal that way. Another from an earlier group was hard-boiled eggs. So on Sunday, I boil up a bunch of hard-boiled eggs and use them for breakfast throughout the week. I don't know, 6 eggs, and I have 6 breakfasts. Maybe you can put it on a salad. There's lots of different things you can do with it. So finding a day that works for you.
Sarah also mentioned last hour doing, like, if you're gonna make lasagna, make 2, freeze 1 kind of thing, some of those thoughts, or if you're gonna, if something is on sale, like a big piece of meat, and maybe it is just 2 of you, and you're like, we're gonna be so done with this pork after like 5 days,
Yeah.
then it's time to, freeze half of that and maybe a little bit of its juices to make something later, and you don't have to get sick of everything, but heck yeah, then the work's half done when you wanna eat that another week. Yeah, what was Shelley talking about,
So just kind
freezer
of freezer,
inventory
just
too, yeah.
and putting things in your freezer. I mean, there's different ways you can make freezer meals, and then maybe keeping something in your fridge so you know what's in there. Things kind of can get lost in the freezer. Other things you can do, we had talked about in some other groups, getting the family engaged. So maybe one person's kind of the cook, but other people in the family unit, whether it's kids or a spouse, or you get to pick a night or something, because it's hard, it's overwhelming to think, I gotta plan 7 meals, that's crazy. So engaging family members, okay, kids, you get to pick Friday night, but then Saturday when we're making this or that, you gotta eat it. You pick the other night. So just some other little tips and tricks. So for next class then, make sure you do read through the materials, and then thinking about planning some meals ahead. Just thinking about what your meal pattern looks like, when your meals are, your snacks are, and if you need to make any changes or make swap things around at all. So 2 weekdays and 1 weekend day, and bring that in for next time. Any other questions or comments while we're on the topic of food today?
So you don't want us to write down our meal, you just wanna
Yep.
Monday, this is what we had.
before you do it, right? I want you to plan it out.
Oh,
So
so-
like today's Wednesday, so you could do tomorrow. So tonight you could write down basically an outline of everything you're gonna eat tomorrow and
Gotcha.
try to stick to it. But if you wanna keep doing the food log, I mean, just like we were talking about, logs, journaling can be fantastic, so please keep doing that if you found that beneficial.
I wasn't here the last time.
Oh, yeah.
They had the plate thing, and
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of weird because it had the fruit, the veggies,
Yes. Uh-huh.
and I was like, wait a minute. It used to be half the plate had to be veggies, and then your meat and your potato. Why
Well-
did it change all of a sudden?
So, I mean, it's both. Okay, so it probably always was just fruits and vegetables. I think maybe at one point the apple was on the side or whatnot. But really, half the plate, fruits and vegetables. I mean, if you're having breakfast, I mean, I encourage you to have vegetables at breakfast, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people commonly eat fruit at breakfast. So if you're having oatmeal and you can make half your bowl of oatmeal fresh fruit, that would be a way to kind of make that meal plan fit for you. So really it is fruits and vegetables. And that being said, let's say you're like, I am not a vegetable person. I mean, and you like fruit, have fruit, that's fine. So as a general statement, it's kind of, we put them together. Awesome. All right, we'll keep moving on to our next topic.
So we're gonna talk about, I can grab it because it's not right now. Some more stuff with activity. So with, this handout that I'm giving you is pretty long, okay? It's got a lot of stuff in it. It is, and it's got stuff on stretching, it's got stuff on activity. Before we even kind of get into discussion, I just want to say, you know, for the stuff that we're going to hand you guys, a lot of it really is reading on your own, you know. The stuff that Sarah goes through, the stuff that I go through, we really do want you to read all these things on your own, which is why we kind of want this to be more of a discussion and like kind of what you get out of the class bit. Otherwise, we could just mail these to you and there you go, it's done, you know. So we want this part, the in-person part, to be more conversational and expanding on things that are in the reading. And then the reading can become your little workbook, okay? So think about all the handouts that we give. We pick them specifically, which I'm so glad it was brought to our attention last time. Like on the top of these sheets, it says like session 5 or it says 6 or something like that, because we choose a program and different, you know, handouts from a program, and Sarah's got handouts and I have handouts, and so we kind of pick and choose very carefully when we sit down what we think is going to be beneficial for you guys, okay? So you'll even see, like sometimes you'll get all the pages because we've decided that that wasn't that relevant. So we really want you to use the materials to read through them, make notes on them, highlight what means something to you on this page, what was something you needed to read again or for the first time, what might be something you want to fill out, even if it's not homework to be turned in. I know it's sometimes not hard to motivate ourselves to fill out something if I don't get something for it. What you're getting for it is you're creating your own textbook of you and your house. So everything that we're going to do in this class is you can have a little folder or a binder, get a 3-ring binder, put those in there, do whatever you want to do and create a workbook for you that is relevant to your house. Okay, so that's why we do those. And we were kind of thinking maybe we might ask some questions for some little gifts or something like that at class the next week if we give you something to read. So it might be worth reading for that reason too. You know, maybe it might come up in conversation, intent. So try to read the handouts when we give them to you, because we definitely aren't just trying to, you know, kill trees and waste paper. We give it to you because it matters. Okay. So that's for some of the handouts. But so now what we just handed out here is talking about some more things on physical activity, and this has a lot to do with time management. And then it goes into stretching and other things. But what, even from last week, did anybody work on their physical activity goals, and how did that goal go? And anybody want to share at all with how that went?
I took my sheet and I actually made a goal column in there and the cheat column. And I'm one that I can't say I'm going to exercise on Monday and Wednesday, and then Tuesday and Thursday I'm not going to do anything. It doesn't work for me. I have to kind of set small periods of time every day. And if I can't, well, that happens, but at least I have it kind of there as a goal for the day.
That's awesome.
And So it ended up being a really busy week last week. So instead of like, what was it, 200 and some minutes or whatever, I only had like 93 or 95. But
Yeah.
it puts it out in front of me that this is my goal for the day, and it's like 15 minutes once like in the morning and then in the evening kind of a thing.
That's awesome.
But I can't just say, oh, I'm gonna do it on these days. It just doesn't, because I can find every excuse in the world not to, because that's the day I'm supposed to. Or if it's just a small period of time for that day, it seems I can meet that usually.
That is excellent. I mean, really, I wish that we could have, well, we are recording. But I wish, yeah, that having that time structure is so crucial. Because what she's doing there is making it a part of her day as if it's anything that you're doing, that it's that important that it needs to be a part of the day. If you put a meeting in there, or you've got to go to run an errand, or you got to go to the dentist on that Wednesday, you got to eat, and it's a meeting just like anything else. It's a meeting for yourself, but it's that important. So that's absolutely awesome. I love it, love it, love it. That, taking it and saying this is that important that I need to schedule it in. And then also, we were talking in a couple classes that it's so easy when things get busy that's the first thing on the chopping block, which is usually the most important thing you need, is the first thing we get rid of, is the exercise. But so can I ask you, even for the 93 minutes, was that more than you would have maybe have done the week before?
Probably.
Oh, okay. So right. So you're saying, hey, I didn't get the 200, but as we're going to talk about soon about goals, that's awesome. So it's still more than you would have done. Just like when Sarah was talking about the food logging, when you look at it, okay, did I eat perfect? No, but did I not eat something because I didn't want to write it down? Or did I maybe get to take a smaller portion because I wanted? So it's that accountability, and then you have that visual. So it's really smart. And then the third thing to point out to you guys, knowing yourself. So you knew yourself. You knew what you needed. Putting out this day or this day I'm not going to, but this days I'm going to do. That didn't work for you. So do you guys all hear that? That it's like, what doesn't, I know that's not going to work for me, or think about things you've tried in the past that didn't work out for you, and then you work around that barrier and find what does. And so great job working through that barrier to find out what worked for you. So really awesome. Couldn't have come up with something better than myself. That was great. Yeah. Anybody else have some thoughts or stuff that they experienced with fitting in that physical activity?
I go to the fitness center for 30 minutes each day now.
Yeah.
With my buddy here.
Yay! And having a buddy helps, right? Yeah.
There's a group of us in here every day.
Mm-hmm.
Is that enjoyable?
Yeah, we listen. Everybody, we're all there talking and whatnot. And
Yeah.
stepper, I've been trying the different things on the stepper and talking with Kelly. Now she's trying different things, and
Good.
so
Yeah. And that's right. You enjoy it, and you'll do it because you like it, right?
Yeah.
Who here has tried exercise that they didn't like? Yeah. Yeah, I shared last hour how I have absolutely no sports ability at all. I can't play sports to save my life. I teach fitness classes, I cycle, I run. I know, look at your face. I cannot play a sport. I told everybody that I've cried at a driving range. I cried because I couldn't hit a ball. So, I know that's not going to be my exercise of sports. That's not going to be my gig unless I want to embarrass myself and have some sort of anxiety attack. But I can bike, I can run, I can work out, I can do lots of things. I can swim, I can dance, so then I pick the things that I enjoy and that I can actually accomplish because I'm not going to be able to play basketball. I mean, I could, it's just going to look really bad. But so you pick the things that you enjoy and you like, and then you'll do it, right? Because if you hated it, you wouldn't sit here and say, I go to the fitness center 5 days a week. Yeah, it wouldn't happen, right? That's awesome.
She just likes the company.
Yeah,
I do.
which is fine. Who
You
cares?
don't have to actually like that.
Right.
You might just like the camaraderie, or
Yeah.
being outside, or I like
We just
that.
did 3 laps in the plant here. It's not the most visually appealing thing to walk around Plant 2. We'd rather walk outside, but it was nice to stretch our legs and walk and talk, right?
you didn't pop in to visit me.
I know, I did.
Probably
We were
passed by.
motoring and talking. People were trying to say hi to us, like, yeah, we're just talking. Yeah.
You probably passed right by.
I
didn't even know I was
did.
there.
I was just like, oh, I think they're in there. Yeah. So anything else with that you guys feel with the physical activity and getting it in there? It might take a little bit, right? If you're not doing it, it'll take a little bit. You know, and you might think about it too like this, where maybe you start doing something and then you realize that, you know, okay, would my former self have even done that? You know, where 6 months ago, oh gosh, I never thought I would be sitting here saying that I work out all these times a week, or this is what I do. But it just takes something small to start. So, you know, it's not always that, you know, I'm coming in and it's been 2 weeks, guys, how's that exercise going? Who's working out all the time? Who's fit? It's gonna take a little bit to get there. So we're gonna talk about goals. But Sarah was just gonna say, do you guys have the indoor walking maps for Plant 2?
No.
Yeah. Does anybody go to specialty at all? Because we have a specialty one too. Oh, you stay on your side of campus?
That's right.
That's right. Stay over here, Plant Tours.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see at specialty tomorrow who takes the Plant 2 map. So yeah, so that's your indoor track and you can see how long it is. And then we do have outdoor ones too for when you do the outdoor track, and then also outdoors, even though I know that the one that we really love is in like the woods and past the field. There is one that's all pavement that Dr. Chris mapped out. And so there's one that you can just stay on pavement. It's actually the one that's lit as well. So if it's dark out, it's always lit. So so if you guys want that, I can email that to you, or Gail has it as well. So just let us know, because that's when it's nice to go outside. I mean, we love walking in the winter. I'll do that any day, but I'm not really crazy about wind and rain. I'm kind of a baby about that.
So if you start at the end point and go all the way around and come back to that starting point,
Yes.
how far is that?
That's, well, it
That'd
says
be
that
1,
5 is,
and then you need
is
5.
5 is 1 mile. So
Oh,
I
5
think it-
laps is okay.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay, so awesome. So there you got
Is
that.
the laps considering there and back?
I
Is
think
that
it's
right?
there and back, yeah.
Not just there. Okay.
Right.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah, it's big, but it's not that big. Okay.
Maybe that's when they try to watch it. See her walking all the time.
Yeah. All right, so Sarah's going to pass out some things about goals. So we're going to talk about goal setting. This is probably going to be the most important thing, maybe, probably, hopefully, that you do in this entire class for all of the weeks that we meet. Okay, so this is big time heavy stuff we want you to do. So we're gonna create some really well structured goals, and here's why. Keep using the same analogy every class. When you guys set out to do things, either at work or in your personal lives, there's usually some sort of plan in place, and you think about things, and you start doing it, and you work things out, and you make it happen, right? No one just buys a house overnight. No one, buys a car. No one gets a job. No one gets stuff done at work without a little bit of pre-thinking, right? But, if you're going to be like, that's it, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. I'm just going to start eating better and working out. Or I'm gonna make sure that I, eat fruit every day. I'm gonna buy all this fruit, and then your fruit goes bad. Okay? Or, or like you kind of just think of things. How many people here did a New Year's resolution? Wow, that's again. We had like one person last hour. And why don't you make them?
I don't
Because you don't
think
keep
so.
them.
Because you don't keep them. Because what are they based off of?
Hope.
Perfect. It's funny but not funny, right? Because it's true. I don't know. I'm hoping I hope I'm the type of person that in a year I could finally do this thing, right? We think that we're like, oh yeah, I'm totally going to do it. But here's the idea. Not making and not creating a goal is the same as if you guys your family, you guys want to redo your kitchen, okay? And you wake up on Saturday morning, you roll over and look at your spouse and say, let's redo the kitchen. You go downstairs and take a sledgehammer and it's demo day, and you just start hauling off on taking things down. It would never happen, right?
No.
Not with a good outcome.
My husband does that, so.
Okay, so sometimes there are experiences. Yes, we would do this when my dad would go fishing. My mom's like, all right, guys, we're taking the wallpaper off of the living room, and I'm like, this is going to be bad when Dad gets back. But so, yeah, I guess it was kind of planned. But your husband just...
He's in construction, so if I
Oh.
say go, he goes.
Okay, so game on. Okay.
Yeah.
But typically, or for unprofessionals, we would do things like plan on what is this going to look like? What's the budget? What cabinets are we going to get? What's the paint? What's the backsplash? Are we going to get new flooring? Are we going to put a new window? Whatever. We're going to change the configuration, new appliances, right? All these thoughts go into it, okay? And you guys make plans and you put it down, and then all these action steps. Well, you can't just do the floor yet because we gotta get the cabinets in, and you do things in the right order and whatever it is, okay? Lots of trip to Menards, things like that. So you plan it out and how long it's gonna take. But do we do that with our health all the time? Or do we just are like, well, I met with one of the Sarahs and they said we should do this, or I probably should do that, or after my bio screen, or my doctor visit, or my dental, or whatever it is, you know, or my financial advisor. But so we listen to things we should do, we think things in our own heads, and then we shoot for the moon and we just try to do it, and then we fail, and then how do we feel about ourselves?
Right.
Awful. Not so hot, right? And the more times we don't do so great, and the more times you don't do so great, and the more times you don't do so great, we feel worse and worse and worse, and I'm never going to be able to do it, okay? So this is part of changing that around and going and turning the wheel the other way, of saying let's make some really SMART goals. And we're going to go through what SMART goals are. So have anybody heard of SMART goals, that acronym? Okay, so this is what it is. SMART goals are this. The S stands for specific. So we're very specific. So instead of just saying, I'm going to lose weight, what would we say? What would be a specific goal? I'm going to lose 10 pounds. Right. Okay? Yeah, exactly. Or like even break it down, like I'm going to lose 1.5 pounds a week I'm going to try for. Something, you know, but specific. Measurable is how that is the next N. So it should be measurable. So instead of just, I'm gonna quit drinking soda. I'm gonna drink, you know, take one soda away so many days of the week, and then the next week I'm gonna try 2 sodas on different days, you know, and it's like measurable, and you can have it be. Because why should it be measurable and specific? Why would you want that?
You know you did it or you didn't.
Perfect. So you know if you did or you didn't do it, right? Because if it's vague, we probably almost intentionally make it kind of vague. So, I don't know if I kind of did. But this way, it's like black and white. I either did what I said I was going to do or I didn't. And then you can fix things to make it more attainable, right? So attainable and or achievable is the A. And so that's the idea of saying exactly like what Sarah's been saying. Like, can I just add in this? Can I try this? Can we do 3 days of food logging instead of, she could have been like, everybody food logging for the next 2 weeks to see you. Not really attainable and achievable. That would be really hard. Same thing with expecting you guys to be workout fanatics or fix something, this or that. But make it achievable and attainable. So, perfect example with I got the 93 minutes in. It was like that. I achieved that. Maybe it wasn't totally what I wanted, but you did do that, and it was more than you would have done. So making it something that you will actually be able to do. The R is for it's relevant to you. It matters to you. How many times do we sit there and say, I should do this, my doctor do this, I should do that, I heard I should do that, I heard, or they say you should. They say. Okay? So instead of shoulding all over the place, think about what you should do for you. What is something that you want? Maybe not even that you should. I'll even take the should out of that. What is something you want for you? What is something that matters to you? And it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about it because there's no judgment because it's yours. It's your heart, it's your head. It matters in your world, then it matters. Bottom line. Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about your goal because it's not their goal, it's your goal. And so also to think about that it's not doing it for someone else. I should quit smoking because my spouse doesn't like it. I should eat, I should lose some weight because so-and-so really wants me to, or my doctor said this or that. That's not going to help you because what happens when something goes wrong and you kind of hit the skids or whatever, then you almost get defiant. You're like, oh yeah? Well, I'm going to go buy a pack of cigarettes, or I'm going to go eat this then. Because you didn't do it for you, you did it for someone else. But when it matters to you and you put that value on yourself, then that goal is valuable to you. And the last piece of that is time bound. So putting a time stamp on it. So I'm going to achieve this goal in a week. I'm going to achieve this goal in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, maybe 6 weeks. However, don't go too far out because we want to be able to measure it and know if you did it or not. So who's ever made those really long-reaching goals and then you kind of fall off the wagon because it was too far to keep your eye on the prize. It's too far in the distance. So thinking about setting it nice and close so you could do it. So on the back of your goal sheet, you've got just one goal right there. And we do kind of want you just to write one goal. Now, this can be a combination of things. So think about it. I know a lot of times we're talking about weight and food and nutrition. Those are great topics for health, but think about our wellness. It's kind of everything. When you guys did that wellness survey, maybe you want to do something about, Sarah mentioned, like maybe your medication isn't, you're not good at taking a medication that you need to take daily. Maybe you really need to floss every day and getting to the dentist. Maybe it's you need to get your finances in order. Or maybe it's something more spiritual or emotional, like I really would like to pray every day, or I've been meaning to get back to church. What can I do that way? Maybe it's journaling. Sleeping, going to bed at the right time. And some of these lead into another one, where I'm going to go to sleep at a regular time every night so I can get up in the morning to work out before work, and I'll have my lunch packed before I go, every weekday night or every 3 days, and make it measurable, attainable, whatever it is, okay? So, maybe it's a goal that feeds into another thing so that you're getting what you want for your health. So think about that goal, and I do want this to take some time, because I really hope for you guys that this is kind of hard to do, because it shouldn't be easy. This really should be something it's got some meat to it. And then the bottom part, we left for maybe a secondary backup goal to your first goal. Maybe you want to put something, like the sleep part, maybe you really want to work on your sleep, so maybe your backup goal is to do bedtime yoga 3 nights a week in order to help my sleep. Or get some lavender essential oil for my pillow, and so that's like either kind of a secondary goal, or it's like an action step. So think about the action steps that you need to do that goal. So what if it is something with like eating healthier? I want to make sure I have fruit and vegetables at every breakfast. So you're going to need to buy some and think about and make a list of ones that you're going to want to eat. Okay? That can be an action step. It's going to support your goal. So does that help kind of explain how we want your goals to be structured? And again, you guys are going to turn these in, and then we're going to give them back to you because we want to see if you completed them. That's the fun of it, is getting to them and celebrating something that you could achieve. It's a big part. So am I missing anything? Yeah, please share.
Just when you write your goal, if you're like, okay, is this a goal? You want to make sure you're, let's say, about 80% sure that you can accomplish that goal. If you're like, it's 50-50, I might do it, I might not, maybe we need to reevaluate that goal then.
You want these goals achieved by the time that this
Oh, no, not
class is-
necessarily. Just
No,
that
no.
you think in your head,
Yeah.
I am 80% sure, I'm almost 100% sure I can do this.
Yeah, and by the time of it, that's up to you. The time, the
Right.
time bound is up to you.
Right,
Yeah.
by whatever you say, but just so that you feel like walking away, you're confident with your goal that you set.
Yeah, you feel good about it.
Can it be one that we've already been working on?
Absolutely, because that means that you're just putting it in writing and giving it a really good chance at happening. That's the thing, it's like if you write it down and it's really well written, so the more thought you put into this, that really ups your chances of the success of this. That I will be successful if I have this written down. Exactly like we were talking about earlier with the exercise and the food and writing it down. It really ups those chances. Okay? Is there any other questions or thoughts with the goal setting? So next time we meet, and I don't know that I even said in the beginning how I didn't send out a reminder email because my computer crashed this week. Literally, it's gone. I have a loaner. All of my like lists and stuff are on a hard drive that I think we've got, but I have to try to get all of it. So sorry that you didn't get a reminder email. Thank you for showing up. Maybe that's why class was so
yeah.
small. We were missing a lot of reminders. So I'm hoping to get that to you and a reminder next time. But so bringing in your goal sheet and then your meal planning sheet is what we would love to see next week. And then we will take anything that else that's, or 2 weeks, sorry, thank you. And then we would love to collect any of your food logging or your activity goal setting that you did from last week. So
There's not enough room.
yeah, that's true.
Do what you can.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. But
Thanks,
thanks for
guys.
coming, guys.
Dakota County.
Yeah.
I'm like,